Here we go. Unit question 1. By the early 18th century, the British had outstripped both the French and the Spanish in the New World by becoming the most populous, prosperous, and powerful. Explain how this happened. Realistically, we got Britain, who's coming over and making multiple settlements, There's the New England colonies, which aren't even really... It's hard to say that they're originally British, because they're just British people who came over and seek of religious freedom. They had their own government set up. They had, their own schooling systems even. They were doing stuff all on their own without the British say, for a long time. And then you have in the South, you have Jamestown, and, there were settlements there that didn't work at all. There's places that completely died out. They decided to settle in like swamps and sweet, awesome places like that really don't pan out in the long run, But, they did manage, in Jamestown to stick around, and, they spread out a little bit, and they began to farm there, and they began to build this really strong foundation around tobacco farming. This led to an influx of, new slaves coming in. There's a lot of money to be made here now, and so that's going to bring more people over in hopes of making money, so now there's a reason to be there, and that's really something that the others don't have. The Spaniards, they were all up and getting gold, and a lot of people did that, and they did that throughout Mexico and stuff like that, and that's definitely something people were interested in, but it wasn't something that was steady, because it's not like they were mining for gold. They were just taking it, like, oh, you collected all that gold? Thanks, I'll take that. And then the French, I don't know what the French were doing. They were trying to make their way to Canada, through Canada, to the Pacific, and then they realized the importance of the Mississippi River, which is good, and how it could control trade from North and South America. Not Americas, but I mean, North America from top to bottom, Canada, up through Canada. Anyway, when they settled in Quebec and stuff like that, and didn't really do much except for like fur trading and, mating with the natives, So there wasn't that big culture like there was elsewhere, with the tobacco companies, tobacco plantations rather. So it never really prospered like it did for the Europeans. I think what it really breaks down to is that the French and Spanish and the British all had different incentives, different goals, and went about completely differently. The French, they came over here to trade and to spread their religion, their Roman Catholicism. And the Spanish, they came over here to plunder and get lots of gold. And the British, they came to stay. They came to claim new land and to explore and make money selling tobacco. And religious freedom. Yeah, that too. So, the fact that the British were the ones that stayed, well, they were the ones that wanted to stay. I think had the French truly wanted to stay, they could have, stayed. They were there for a while. I'm sure there's the French-Indian War, in which case France got their butt handed to them, but that almost killed off the British just because of all the debt it surmounted. And even after the French War, after they got their butts handed to them, the French still had land there. Up until the Louisiana Purchase, French still owned a whole heck of a lot of land, and that was land they could have used if they so chose, but it wasn't in their best interest, It wasn't what they wanted to do. France is happy being a little dinky country that they are. So one thing the British did differently is the massive amount of people that were actually going there. When you look at Spain and France, they didn't have so many people going to the new colonies. The massive influx of people, the giant population boom, wasn't because everyone was there having babies. It was because everyone was going there, I mean, sure, people had babies, but it was, negligible, really. That wasn't, their primary thought in going there. So, yeah, hopefully this is enough to get me a good grade.